Outside Old Trafford. I'm here with my man Double A. We're talking Manchester United. We're talking Dan Ashworth's hurry. Sir Jim Radcliffe desperate to get Dan Ashworth in to deal with all of the stuff going on at Manchester United, in particular Ten Hag, and getting that situation sorted. Some reports saying that he wants Dan Ashworth to be the man that makes that big call, the one that nobody wants to make, or has seemed over Ten Hag's time at United, that one call that everyone has let him get away with. Double A, welcome to the show.
Thanks for
Enjoying a little bit of Old Trafford Canal backdrop today.
Oh yeah, Joey, it looks really nice, which says something when it looks so old and decrepit, but it actually looks quite nice.
It does,
with
mate.
the water and the sun.
There are some parts of Old Trafford which actually look better than others.
Well, that's clearly had a lick of paint, so you know that's one of the bits he put some paint on. So that does look good.
Yes, it does. It does. Anyway, mate, it's been a while since we spoke.
It has.
A lot of water has gone under the bridge. Perfect backdrop for that comment there. And not many good results have come in that. Jesus, that was a big fish. Anyway, hey, we'll just watch our backs in case a crocodile comes out the water or something. Please give the video a like as well, guys. I'm like living on the edge here just to get the best backdrop and best view for you guys. Just mixing it up a little bit. Sorry, mate.
That's all good.
Going off football, totally. It's not been a bad thing, actually, not talking about United's football. But the pressure's mounted on Ten Hag now.
Yep.
We'll get your thoughts on where we're at in terms of the club and the football on the pitch, and look ahead to this weekend as well. But immediate thoughts on the news that's come out regarding Dan Ashworth. Obviously, last week, face-to-face meetings with Amanda Staveley, Sir Jim Radcliffe stepping in, shows quite clearly where his intention is for Manchester United in terms of the big decisions that are coming and the team he wants in place for what is going to be a mega summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As we've said so many times, it possibly could be one of the biggest summers for upheaval and a new structure coming in, and seeing where Manchester United are going in terms of the future. It could be one of the biggest in the last 20 odd years. Easily could say that. Obviously, only Fergie leaving would be top that, seeing as a legend leaving the club as he is. But I mean, for me, I will be ultra critical on everything that INEOS do because I'm so sceptical, and whether that's me being negative or not, I have to look at it from that kind of perspective. I'm not just going to welcome them with open arms. They really do have to impress me, because I'm just fed up with the false dawns, mate. I'm fed up with the summer coming in. It's going to be, we're going to be great, we're going to be brilliant. Similar with Ten Hag coming in, and we're seeing where we are now with that. I need to be ultra critical of what they're going to do and what they're planning for this club, because we can't have another season like this. We've had too many of these seasons, and for me, what we're seeing at the moment with Ashworth and Sir Jim having to come in and do these negotiations, for me, I will say it shows a lack of planning. I think he knew he was taking over this club for a very long time, I would say personally. It seems like even before they put the club on sale, Sir Jim was the man to come in. How in that 18 months then have you not got the people you want to come in straight away and planned to do that? I hope it is a quick resolution, because this Ashworth stuff is dragging on. It's almost like a Manchester United transfer signing. It's dragged on that long.
Yeah.
How long it takes us to get a signing over the line, it's going down that route now, and it is massively important. And this is why I as much as I don't think Ten Hag is the right man for me anymore, I do believe he will be here next season. And Ashworth making that decision, it is vitally important you have the right people in charge to do that, because it is such a massive decision, and one of the first INEOS will have to make on deciding whether this manager is the man to take us forward in the future. They do need the right people in place. It shouldn't be Sir Jim making that decision. Maybe Barada has to have that influence as well, but Ashworth, with the day-to-day of working alongside a manager and his number two, which we believe will be Wilcox, they all have to get together and make sure they are planning right for the future for Manchester United.
Get your comments in as well, guys. We've got Josh on comment section as well. We'll come to that in a minute. I can feel your passion, Double A. I can feel everything inside there. But what comes across most is like what you just said, your scepticism of this whole INEOS takeover. It's like it's good to get that point across, because I have been quite pro and quite positive about it. I do understand issues that people can see, but it does feel to me like you are just like, you've absolutely fed up. Is there anything in that? It's not so much INEOS's fault for where we are and probably how your attitude is to it. Is that simply for you just because of the way that this football club has been run before INEOS have come in, and like anything that happens right now, you straight away you're in on it, aren't you? As a United fan, you're criticising and you're sceptical about it, aren't you?
PTSD, mate. That's the easiest way to say it. It's PTSD, because we know they're still here. The Glazers here have set this club back year upon year, and you know, the focus has been away from success on the pitch. It's all success off the pitch. INEOS coming in, saying the right things. You know, it's one of those. It's too good to be true. Maybe I feel like it's too good to be true what they're saying, and you know, the open goals that they're getting, Barada coming in, you know, getting Ashworth. These are positions that should already have been filled in Manchester United for the last 5-6 years anyway. So yes, it's good that they're wanting to do this, but then you know, you see the other side of it, and it's the links to Potter and to Southgate, and them not shutting them down worries me even more, because
much, is there?
you say you want the best in class. You say you want to be seen as, you know, taking Manchester United back to the top. That's what you're here for. Those two names don't scream that to me at all. As much as you may have relationships with them, and it's an easy thing to say and compare to, but what other big club is going to shout for them two names?
That's it.
You know, Potter's had a big job and he failed there miserably. Manchester United is 10 times what Chelsea will be in terms of the pressure that you receive as a Manchester United manager. So those two names don't scream anything for me. And if we are to move away from Ten Hag, it has to be the best in class. Similar to what you want in the boardroom, has to be the same on the managing and the playing side as well, as which we know.
That's it there. Guys, I've got a question for you, what I want you to answer as well. Are you with AA on this one? Is it important that INEOS already knew who was going to come in? Are you sceptical of everything that INEOS are going to be doing? But on top of that, I'm going to ask you this question as well, AA, now, but get your comments in, guys, and we'll come to Josh after this next bit. Is it important that INEOS bring in Dan Ashworth, and are you happy that it is that man that's taking charge of these footballing decisions, one man in particular it seems, because I think a decision could have been made, AA, on the manager right now. You think he's going to last till the end of the season? It's never seemed to me that anyone's been willing to make a decision. So Dan Ashworth, that responsibility in such a big role, is that what United have been missing? Is that how you would hope United did it going forward, like a structured dismissal sort of process? It goes through one man. It looks that way, and what's the Jim's trying to build? Because for me, he's trying to rid himself of making this big call and bringing in people who know more, whether that's good or bad. Yeah,
I don't think it should rely solely on Ashworth. I think he has to be part of what you would say a structured committee.
Yeah.
You know, you got Barada, Wilcox, and then Ashworth coming together and making those correct decisions going forward. Obviously, it would probably rest on Ashworth's shoulders to inform the manager that he's gone or anything like that. And I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, I'm on INEOS's back straight away, and I don't believe some parts I am quite sceptical, maybe a little bit too much, but I'm here with, you know, open eyes.
United fan, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I'm excited to see what they're going to do, because you know, the Barada thing took us all by surprise. It come out of left field, and it's one of them ones that got the fans hyped up. The only thing I would say with the Ashworth stuff, and for it to be taking too long, is, and I liken it to a transfer, you should have a list of people that you want. If the Ashworth stuff is taking too long, and it's seeming we can't wait until next, because there's rumours it might take till next year, January next year.
Yeah.
We can't wait that long.
No,
Manchester United going forward, we cannot wait that long, and he has to be done now. Whether you go and pay what Newcastle want, or you work out some kind of deal with them, it should be done straight away. If you can't get him for when you need him, you go and move on to another target. There must be other people in there that can do the job just as well, if not better. You know, Mitchell was talked about a lot. You know, he was linked with a Roma job. He's still out of a job. He's got links with Sir Jim. Is he not a viable option then? If Ashworth is unattainable, or is just going to be waiting too long for us to? Because we can't wait for someone to then kickstart. We need to kickstart straight away, because where we need to be next season is nowhere where we are now. Yeah. So we can't continue on this path and hope things are going to get better. The hope is what kills you. So we need to make the tough decisions. If Ashworth is going to take too long, move on to another target, go and get someone else in that is more attainable, so we can really start this process from day one. Because what I don't want is for it to be a case of, well, right, well, next year might be better because he's going to eventually come in. Because as soon as the season ends, whether that's the FA Cup final or not, is day one where Manchester United really has to start under INEOS and this new project kicking into life and getting us back, not even competing for trophies, just getting us back acting like a big club again.
Yeah. Do you agree with AA? I think a lot of you will. I'm going to pass over to Josh now, who's just going to get some of your comments in. Hello everyone, by the way. I'm not leaving you out. Here you come.
Firstly, we've got a super chat from DJ John.
DJ John, good to have you back in, mate. Good to have you back in. See how that synchronicity works there, the match.
We've got a comment from Tony Callahan. The only way that we get the clear out is if Ten Hag stays.
Yeah, I'm thingy with that one. We'll get into that in a minute, actually. But go on.
We've got Graham. Graham disagrees with you, AA. He thinks INEOS is not dragging its feet.
Okay. Fair enough. That's what it's about.
I knew he'd disagree with me.
He does that. He likes that group.
Everyone's loving the view as well. They're all loving the
Do you
backdrop.
like it? Do you like the reflection of Old Trafford in the water? It's going the extra level. This is actually a real sort of like old school Old Trafford spot here with the graffiti and then the Old Trafford backdrop. It feels good. Any more in there, Josh?
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm not sure what. So this is from United Spotlight. I'm not sure what else to expect INEOS do in 3 months. They're doing what I'd hoped, is getting the structure sorted first.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah. Does anyone actually agree with Dan Ashworth being the man that makes the calls? Like, between CEO Omar Barado, Dan Ashworth, Director of Football, we're going to have a head of recruitment, and obviously Wilcox is going to come in as the technical director. Between them, I mean, it's a difficult one to say what's best there, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so for sure. Listen, like I keep saying, it's that having that proper structure, which every massive club now has, and having all we've ever wanted was people that were good at the job in that post. For too long, we've had pretenders in there just scrambling in the dark, hoping that they managed to Murto and Arnold. Hoping that they scramble on a good decision. And you know, and I think the last two that have just left, I've really kind of left Ten Hag out to dry as much as I disagree with a lot of things.
He's on his own now, isn't he, from the original regime?
But I think even when they were here, they were quite happy to let him have all, you know, we only went and got Anthony because he wanted him so much. Rather than saying no, shutting him down, saying, listen, like 80 million is far too much for this player. Go and get someone else. Do you know what I mean? It's a case of, well, he said he wants him. So is that passing the blame? And, you know, it all rests on Ten Hag's shoulders now if Anthony performs or not. Whereas, you know, a Manchester City and Arsenal, Liverpool, whoever you want to say, will probably say to the manager, listen, we know you love this player so much, but for £80 million for unproven in the Premier League, I would definitely not advise you to go for that, and we will look at other targets and go from there.
Yeah, that's it there. Another thing that Sir Jim has brought up, and I know you'll agree with this one, I think every single Man United fan agrees with this one, is the leaks. Apparently he's not happy about how social media influence from certain players and their involvement in that is happening, leaks coming out of the football club. This is one thing that everybody in the United fan base would say, can you get on top of this, INEOS? The leaks coming out of Carrington, because since INEOS have took charge, like, they are in now. They are fully ratified and in, and it's still happening, mate. So every fan's going to look at it and go, what's changed? Well, and that's not convincing anyone that when the season finishes, that the transfer structure and what happens in a transfer window is going to change either, because right now, nothing has changed. The football's got worse. The leaks coming out about the manager are there, they're rife, and we've got players doing what they want on social media, mate.
Well, and I remember a few seasons ago, apparently it was Henderson, Pogba and Lingard that were the leaks. And once they went, that'll stop now. Clearly not. There's clearly still people, and we're not just saying it's players, because we know it could be anyone that works at the club, but it's clearly discontent, and it shows obviously an unhappy environment for this to happen, because you look at teams that are doing well, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, you don't get that there, do you? So Manchester United not being in the position we would expect them to be, or we believe they should be, and the players obviously clearly discontent and not happy, whether it's minutes played or who they're playing with, or the manager themselves, clearly show that lack of not only respect to the manager but to the club and to the fans as well. And we know these bad attitudes and these bad personalities in that dressing room. We've known that for a very long time, and once they get eradicated and removed with more professional thinking players, I think we can start to look at that hopefully disappearing one day. But the one thing that will never change is that Manchester United is always a story, playing well or playing bad. So, you know, you have to factor that in as well, and I think that may always happen with Manchester United, because in this country, it sells. The name Manchester United sells. You know, you look at stories about players from Arsenal, or if something happens to a player, it's ex-Manchester United player did this, or, you know, Manchester United. It's what hits. It's what hits the headlines. So
what hits the SEO.
I don't think you'll ever fully eradicate it. I think it always will be a problem at Manchester United, but it definitely needs to stop as much as it is at the moment, because it's one of them factors supporting the club that you're fed up of, mate, and it's not good for it's not good for the dressing room, and it's not good for the harmony within the club.
Yeah. One other problem that Manchester United have, it's not so much Manchester United, but Manchester in general, is the weather. It's starting to rain a little bit, but we're going to battle on through. Hopefully it doesn't send the canal level up above us, and we got... I'm not missing. Anyway, into what we all want to be talking about is this team improving AA, and links, the biggest one being Manchester United's right-hand side. I mean, Manchester United with the right-hand side of our attack, like seriously, it's like Frimpong, Elise. I want to talk about them two in particular right now.
Yeah.
Very good numbers for both. Out of the two, I don't think we need both personally, mate, because I look at Frimpong as more of an attacking wing back, more forward thinking than he is actually defensive for me.
Yeah.
I look at his numbers and I go, holy crap! Like, it's a hell of a season for Leverkusen, as we know. It's been miraculous, and I think one of the best seasons that any particular club has ever had.
Oh, really? Yeah.
To be already crowned champions, to be where they are unbeaten is crazy, and he's been a big part of that. His numbers speak volumes.
Yep.
Is that the type of player for you that you would want, or do we need to be looking at an Elise, a Premier League proven player? Both 22 and 23 respectively.
Yep.
Numbers very similar. If you put up Elise's ratio for the games he's played, he's only had 13 games this season.
Yeah.
This is my downside to him. He's missed nearly 3 months of a season through injury. Frimpong been available for every single game this season.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what's happening at the training ground or what they've got in the water in Germany, but what sways it for you in that? 60 million Elise, 34 million Frimpong. Am I pushing it one way here?
No more than I already was leaning that way anyway. I think Jeremy Frimpong for me has to be the one that we go for. I think I do believe that he could possibly play right back. I don't think this whole thing.
He's had one game in an official right back sense this season, but he can cover up.
I think he can do it.
They play a certain way, don't they?
I think he could do it. And if he's tasked to play there, you believe the rumours that Aaron Wan-Bissaka's probably going to leave the club anyway. I don't believe Delo is elite enough to say that he should be our starting right back, and there's no one there that can come in and be better than him. Don't think that's the case. As much as he's improved this season and probably has been our player of the season, which doesn't mean anything because everyone's been shit. So to say you're the best player of a crap bunch doesn't really mean much to me personally. So I do think we could get someone in that can either push him further or be better than him, and he has to push to get back in the starting lineup. Jeremy Frimpong for me 100% does that. He's brilliant going forward, like we've said. He's attacking. He scores goals, and I just think he's got that mentality, and he looks like that good young player that we could bring in and could be really successful in this team. Michael Elise, like you said, has them injuries. There's always that doubt hanging over his head. Do we need to bring in someone that's going to miss a lot of games again? Not for me. There's too many players we have that with already, and I think for the right wing, Amad Diallo is criminally not getting the minutes that he fully, I think, deserves. I think how you can go and score a win against Liverpool and then you're given, I've said it to you before, you like to say, pity minutes ever since, is a indictment on the manager. And I think it goes to show that this manager clearly has favourites and picks players, if not who he thinks has to start, plays players that he's brought through. So you think of Garnacho, you think of Mainu, or the young players that he's given the chance to, picked over players that probably deserve a start more.
I think he's solidifying his spot there and backing his decisions that he's made.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the detriment of other players in the squad.
Of the team in general. And I think, I think we're well stocked at right wing anyway. Anthony Garnacho can play there. Sancho does. We've got the problem with Sancho to solve.
Sancho, Palestra, Ahmad.
Before we start to bring anyone else in, let's sort out what's happening.
Is that important to you? Clear the decks first before the players come in, or can you not stand there and let other people come in and take these possible targets away?
I think. Well, we're the only ones with Elise, so if anyone else is coming in for him, that's absolutely fine. I think there's other players that we could go for the right. We probably need a proper left winger as well, because I think Garnacho for me is better on the right than the left. I think he's proved that this season. The game against Villa.
Another right-handed player.
I think this is what I mean. So I think if Garnacho can play on the right, go and get another left winger then. But if Sancho stays. And then we've got the problem with the former number 11 who's over against Afe. So there's that issue to come in as well. I mean, for me, it's defensive midfield and striker that needs sorting. Rather than go and get a winger, go and get another striker.
Centre back.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who goes. There's 3 potential centre backs that could go. Do we get 2 in? We probably do need 2. Midfield, we need players on. Left back, I mean, we can go on. Nothing's changed from last summer, because all these positions last summer we were talking about needed replacing. Left back was probably the only secure one because of Luke Shaw and Malacia coming back off their season.
And we bought in Regulon.
Well, yeah.
So we had 3 at the start we thought were going to be available. Now we've got none.
But even Fernandes was looking like, he was an up-and-coming player, gone on a loan. We shipped him on another loan. He's only just starting now. So we need positions all over the pitch, and we're not going to do that, are we? So it comes down to a place where could we suffer with Delo and Wan-Bissaka for another season? I think we could, but then you're going to miss out on an amazing player like Frimpong. So it does tire you a little bit. It's fully coming down now. Wow, perfect.
Yeah, we got a little layer storm. It's like, I can actually see blue sky there.
Yeah.
And then we've got one cloud, which is it's like that cartoon when the character's walking down the road and there's a cloud just following him. This is everything to stop you making content in Manchester or around Manchester United. United actually control the weather around here. The security guy don't want us to be on the front, so they turn the switch on to stop us filming anywhere around the club.
Like turning the sprinklers on, isn't it?
You won't put it past them anyway, but this will blow over in a minute. We're not bothered. We're from Manchester.
Used to
so, yeah, it's fine. I want to get into the comments, actually, guys. Let me know, in terms of the targets, who would you pick, Elise or Frimpong? The more defensive, known, all-around player with 25, I think, goal contributions this season. Wow. Like, literally. And Elise, who has better numbers, only playing 13 games this season than Marcus Rashford. I'm going to move on to him again in a minute. But Josh, I'm going to come to the comment section. Actually, yeah, he's all right. Go on, go for it.
Yeah, I'm all right.
The poor lad's trying to cover the phone and all the equipment here. He's doing 2 jobs there, bless him.
We've got a super chat from Mark Langridge saying the reason they want Ashworth fast is to see if he thinks that it's the players or the managers. You don't want to sack the manager, and Ashworth then says, why did you get him?
Okay, get that.
We've also got a gifted membership from Tom Porter, and that has gone to Cliff Red.
Nice one, Cliff. Nice one, Tom, the general foodie master.
Jonathan says, sort out player power before looking at the manager, otherwise the new manager comes in facing significant problems.
Timescale, I think, is the only thing against that. It is. It's horrible to think, but yeah, going into that quickly, Double A. Agents, I said it last night, will be getting into their players. We had a rumour come out last night. It was reported from one media source saying that Manchester United players are just going to hold their horses and wait to see what happens with Ten Hag. That is just a horrible situation, and that, if anything, shows exactly where this club is right now and who is running the show, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it happened in 21-22. It happened with Ranić. The exact same thing did. The season
it does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly the same situation. I think players are playing for themselves, and if they're waiting to see what's best, can they see out another manager? A lot of them are going to think that they can, and I think we see. I've said, I'm not saying the players aren't playing for him, but there clearly is a lack of belief in what the manager wants them to do, and I don't think the effort is there. You see it with a lot of players. The effort clearly isn't there in a lot of them. It wouldn't surprise me because we know these players are all about ego and all about self-importance and self-interest. So, what's best for them? Because a lot of them will never get a move or play for a club like Manchester United again. They will never be on the money
only
that they
downhill,
get.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Of course it is. So these certain players, I won't name them, but you probably know who they are.
Don't worry.
aren't going to push themselves when they think, well, if Ten Hag gets a sack, if he wins nothing and we don't get Europe or Europa Conference, he's probably going. So I can sit here, I've got a couple of years left, I can see who comes in next, and then we go from scratch. What I really truly believe, and this is why I was so, my main point about INEOS coming in, and they had to have them people come in from day one, is it so from, was it February or January, December, when it was announced they were taking over, they look over that squad now. Because what we don't want, and this is what we need to move away from, if Ten Hag was to get sacked and a new manager was to come in, that this manager then says, well, let me have a look over the summer. What the manager needs to be told is, you're coming in, these players are going. It doesn't matter whether you want them or not.
Yep.
These players have been here too long. We've looked them over last season. The time at the club has ended.
Do you think the club right now with Ten Hag, because they're saying that they're planning for the summer with Ten Hag and everything,
Yeah.
does it work the opposite way? Would Ten Hag have told INEOS, Berardi, sorry, it won't be Berardi because he's on gardening leave, so Jim Radcliffe's there, Brailsford, whoever they've got in position right now, do you think that Ten Hag would have said these are the players that need to be out of the football club as well?
100%. It has to, because you can't be in a job and not plan for the future. Because you can't, as being a football manager, you can't take it day to day. You have to plan for what you see for next season, because you believe in your hearts. Because he obviously doesn't fear for his job. He's not said anything that he fears for his job at all. So he will be planning for the next season. He has to be now, because it's getting to the crunch time.
Job, innit?
Yeah, exactly. So he will have conversations and say, listen, McTominay, Maguire, I want them gone. Yes, he's done all right this season, but I don't see for a position for them going forward, or whoever it may be. So he has to be planning for people he wants to come in, people he wants to see leave, and whether INEOS take that on board if he leaves the job anyway, and says, listen, we know from previous seasons and what the previous manager said, these players have probably come to the end of the time at Manchester United. I think it's vitally important whether Ten Hag's here or not. And those players, like I say, we all know the players that are performing here and who have been here far too long and probably do need to be moved on for us to succeed and just have a fresh breath of fresh air into the club. INEOS need to take it all on board and definitely have to be strong-willed enough to see it through and get rid of those players that we just need to see the back of.
That's it, really. It will show a lot of fans if INEOS come in and nothing does change, that the Glazers are still in power, and then everyone will be against INEOS instantly, unless they do make some form of statement this summer, whether it be getting rid of players that we all know need to leave, or a superstar, or so-called superstar, one of the big pin-up boys of the football club, if he is out of the club, or anything like that. A statement needs to be made. Otherwise, the fans are just going to think, well, you've just lined the pockets of the Glazers. We've still got the debt. And you're coming in now taking a piece of the pie. And this so-called, it's all about football, we don't want to make any money, then that goes out the window instantly. And that negative train, which runs through this club every single season, will just come straight back, steamrolling right through Old Trafford again. And every fan's going to be like, well, this really is the end of Manchester United. It is. I want to move on to that superstar. He has been warned about his place in the England squad for the Euros. You know who I'm talking about. But I mean, this was quite clear anyway. Like, I thought the signs were there when Gordon was ahead of him. I think Gordon's a better player than him. I think Gordon gives more than him. I think there's a lot of players better than him in that England squad. And if there was one self-absorbed, obvious, clear sign that's what Marcus Rashford was, then it's his attitude coming back from that international break to what he's done so far, which is diddly effing squat, mate. Honestly. I feel like that, whoever it is that's warning him about his England place, everybody already knows. If he didn't already know that, it shows exactly where the issue is with Marcus Rashford, doesn't it? I don't want to keep on talking about him all the time, but I said last night, and I'll hold to this, and I'll ask you this question, like, the statement that we were talking about with INEOS, for me, I would be completely happy losing out on Elise and Frimpong and having to pay Rashford out and get rid of him. That's how strongly I feel about Marcus Rashford now. I don't care. Like, I would happily have Palestri come back and we try and battle through by a centre-back, a centre midfielder, and somehow try and get through a season. As long as Rashford wasn't there, I could see young players coming through. We've got a quality academy bunch of players coming through. I would take the loss and get rid of this guy. That's where I'm at with him. That's how strongly I feel about what he's done this season and how he has down tools for me and thrown the manager well and truly under the bus.
I'm in the exact same boat, mate. I couldn't be more done with Marcus Rashford if I tried. I'm fully past all that now, and I've said it so many times. Living off being from Manchester, Manc born and bred, can't see you through what has been nothing but a diabolical season. And let's be honest with ourselves. He's done it before. He did it in 21-22. You know, there's them. I think it was it the derby when him and Lingard came on and they were strolling around and we were getting battered and it just didn't look like they care at all. So again, and I'll say it, he's one of those players that for me, and this is my opinion, looks like it's about self-interest and self-preservation more than it is for Manchester United. And you can come out and do these fancy interviews and tell everyone how much you care for Manchester United and how much it means to you, and you can doubt me if you want. There's no evidence to back up your points, mate. Because one thing I was really, I say, happy to see, but it gave me a bit of self gratification was when he came on for England against Brazil, and he looked as shit as he does for Manchester United. Because now I know that it's not just us that you're doing it for. You do it no matter where you are. And the sad thing is, it seems like for England as it is for Manchester United, the manager really loves him, and the manager will back him to the hilt. So I think, whether this is one of them stories that's leaked out to Marcus Rashford to give him a kick up the arse to say you need to probably pull something out of the bag for the next couple of games, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening anyway.
Your peers and your former Manchester United legends coming out in the drones, actually slaughtering you. That wasn't a kick up the arse enough. But then he got his brother to come out and defend him and say, why don't you come and have a sit down with us? We passed before and this could have all been done. You've all been asking for one-on-ones. Yeah, we want a one-on-one, mate. Try and find out where your head is, really. not some poxy interview dressed up in all your designer gear.
And let's be honest, all them questions are vetted anyway. So anything deep diving that you want to ask
No,
Marcus
he's not gonna ever
Rashford to
do
get
it, yeah.
to get into his head and find out where he is mentally and where he feels, where his true feelings are for Manchester, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the media trained answers of I love Manchester United. I'm from Manchester. I've been a fan since I've been here since I was 7.
2 buses to
Yeah,
training.
do you know what I mean? You get the same answers all the time. And what we really want to know is, Marcus, why do you feel it's appropriate to put those performances out on the pitch you do week in, week out? And, people putting out videos of him running really hard in a game to show you that he does it, but that's not the norm. We could show you a million that go against it and show you very little effort. I see it all the time at Old Trafford. My seat's not far from here at all, and I see it all the time. I know when a player is committed to Manchester United, and from what I'm seeing at the moment, Marcus Rashford is not committed to this club.
No, he's not. I'm going to quickly come to the comments just to give you guys your say. Josh, we got anything decent in there? Anything juicy?
Yeah, we've got another super chat from Mark Langridge. He's quoting Barada saying,
Cheers, Mark.
"Jim, I rate Eric Ten Hag. He was on our shortlist." A few comments on Frimpong as well, saying that he's a right wing back in a back five. Not really
Not
fit
right
into that
back.
Man United squad.
You could transition though. I definitely think you could.
Also, the Elise as well, injury prone seems to
That's
be
the biggest worry.
Seems to be
His
the
numbers
worry.
are fantastic, but
Great player.
the 3 months out this season through hamstring is a big concern at the age of 22. I'm getting Giggsy vibes right there, right now. Really am.
We've got a comment from SDO saying Garnacho has to go. You don't put down your superior in business publicly.
He's again. Where are you at with the dealing with it in-house thing? It's been dealt with internally. Is that good for you? Is that how it should be done?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's dealt with. We move on. Whether the media will let it move on is another thing. I think we've had an instance of it already. We had 2 instances of it dealt with already previous. I think the Marcus Rashford one was done pretty well. As much as I think he should have missed another game. I don't think the one game he missed because of the night out really counts.
Do you feel like that's what's caused this favourable player situation, like with Anthony especially? Like Anthony comes in to training every single week. Marcus Rashford takes a day off because he's bladdered, and then walks straight back in the next game.
Yeah,
like,
it's
is
favouritism.
this what happens?
If that was happening in any other walk of life, if you're coming into work early at Tesco's to stack shelves and you're doing it consistently, and someone walks in and just does it every now and again, just puts
I like
the wrong thing.
Before, mate.
Mate, Asda, I was not Tesco. Sorry.
Okay.
And they're putting tins at the wrong shelves and all that and whatever, and then they go and get a promotion ahead of you. You're gonna be annoyed, aren't you? You're gonna say, well, I'm putting the effort in, they're not. How are they getting ahead of me in anything? And listen, as much as I think Garnacho really is, I don't know why it is, but the Manchester United fan base seems to have a real issue with Garnacho. And I think for a young player 19, and for me, and we're very privileged in knowing and seeing how young players are dealt with correctly at a big club, in that they aren't given 30 starts in a row, because that's not how you bleed young players in. And not all young players are going to be a Rooney or Ronaldo who are superstars from the get-go and can do it consistently. From some players, young players have to learn the game coming from the bench, seeing game situations and knowing how they can affect it. And the issue with Garnacho's having is he's having to play consistently because the players above him are crap. One's having to be shipped off to Dortmund. One can't. Anthony's in and out of the team, had personal issues. Rashford's doing what he's doing. So the pressure's put onto Garnacho to do what's being asked of him, which he shouldn't be, because he's 19 years old. He still needs to learn the game, and he's going to make mistakes. Jumping on his back for doing so and classing him as rubbish and not good for the team, and he needs to be sold, for me is absolutely ridiculous. I think he's been one of the main or the shining lights of this season at all. You think of his importance to the team already at 19 years old. Him and Mainu, I think, are the only things you can look at this season and think, wow, we have got some positives to take from this season. I think I'm glad it's all done with. He moves on. People saying he should be taken out of the team and shouldn't play for what he did on Twitter. Shouldn't play on Sunday. Is absolutely ridiculous for me, because he's very important to the team at the moment. Because, like I say, the forward players ahead of him can't do what he can do consistently.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think I'll echo what Double A's saying now. If Garnacho didn't play in the semi-final at weekend, and Anthony did, I wouldn't have a problem with that, because Garnacho was pretty crap and he clearly wasn't fit, and Ten Hag made a mistake about that call and bringing him into the Bournemouth side. That's how it should be run. And Garnacho will learn a lot from not starting a game. Like, he's got used to it, 30 plus starts in a row right now. And I think academy players coming through, or people just coming through, younger players especially, it's a learning curve. All he's known is everything's great.
Yep.
Everyone's lauding him. Everyone loves him. And there is going to be that moment, and this might come by the back end of this season if someone takes his place in the side or he gets dropped to the bench. That may be that moment where he goes, right, okay, that's that kick up the arse. And then we'll see how he reacts to it, because so far he's not had to react to anything negative-wise anyway. But guys, that pretty much finishes up the live. We'll get back to a lot more of your comments later on in the evening show. We'll talk about stuff that we've talked about here, get some more thoughts on that. I think Kaz, if she is watching, is just glad she wasn't on this one, because she would have got wet. But hey, big shout out to Josh as well in the comments, and all you guys getting in there. Thanks for liking the video as well. I forgot to say that all the way through. So you might as well just go crazy on the likes right now as we finish up. Kaz will be angry at me for not saying that, but yeah, she's in charge anyway. But hey, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all at 6:30.